Well, hello there and welcome to Common Farm Flowers. It's Sunday morning, mid-February. Well, it's about the 19th, I think, February. And I thought you'd like a little tour of the farm, see if there are any signs of spring, see what the flower farm is looking like, sort of edging its way towards the end of winter, beginning to think about spring. Ideally, we're going to have a garden full of flowers in April, in 6 weeks. Hold your breath. Anyway, here we go. Let's go for a little wander around. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. If any of the tips and tricks I give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club, which is a flourishing and growing community of people where we talk flower farming, we have Q&As, we have all kinds of special stuff that goes on for the clubbers, but equally the channel itself is full of information, so enjoy. So this patch is called the Pitch By Yard and it's still looking pretty wintry. However, they will survive despite this cold weather. Look, the Sweet William is still there and they'll come on through. The Sweet Rocket still there, they'll come on through. The Honesty still there, it'll come on through. We've had a very unexpectedly, unusually cold winter for us, and so some things have not survived. Here we have very bad drainage. We're very thick clay, and so where I had opportunistic crops of things like Levatera, which I had just left because they were self-sown, they've all been killed by the frost. But oh look, it's okay because over there are Sweet Rocket, white. I love white Sweet Rocket. And up here you will see the beginnings of the tulips, which we planted in November, and here they are beginning to ping up. Not very many of them yet, but they're coming. At the end of this patch is what I've called the project, and there's a lot more information about that for the club. Here's my dinky little greenhouse. I don't have a huge greenhouse. I grow modest quantities at a time. Most of these seeds were sown on around the 14th of February, so only about 5 days ago. Let's see what we've got. Exciting times. Whoops, kicking the buckets. Oh, look! Gypsophila. I always write on the side here of my trays in painter's pencils, which last very nicely. So that says Gyp 14.2. HG means Higgledy Garden, which is where I got the seed from. And you can see the beginnings of other germinations. It's hard to see, but look, tiny little furry person there. That is a germinating seed. And that is Nicotiana, again, Higgledy Garden. Coming along. I keep the fleece works in the same way as the sort of little plastic lids I've got on the other side of the greenhouse. It's just stopping the surface of the compost drying out. What have we got over here? Unlike me, I am also growing veg this year, and these are tomatoes. Exciting. And cucumbers over here. So it's I haven't grown veg for years and years and years. Very odd. Nothing there yet. We'll get there slowly, slowly. It's a very good thing that I'm away to see my mum for a few days tomorrow, which means that I won't be in here checking every 40 seconds for germination, for signs of germination. I'll get much more result when I come back in a week. The polytunnels are gleaming because they've been really given a good scrub. Ewan, who's one of my subscribers from far, far away, has been looking forward to me finishing weeding this bed. Well, as you can see, slowly, slowly, we'll get there in the end. And if you saw the clip I made the other day about mulching the bed with the narcissi, here they all are, coming along. This bed over here is a mix. It's the nearest I get to forest gardening. So it's a mix of late summer perennials and spring bulbs. It works very effectively, but I think it would work better if I were a proper gardener, not a flower farmer. It's quite fiddly. For me, it's quite annoying. Here's a late crop of Ranunculus. Thank you very much, Sel Robertson from Forever Green in Norfolk, who sent me these Ranunculus claws. Potted out cuttings of scented pellies, Salvia amistad, lovely scent. They are for my pots outside my back door. A succession of sweet peas, germinating nicely through their little plastic lids. Once they're properly through, I'll take the lids off. That'll be on Fabrizio's list while I'm away. And in here we have some hardy annual seedlings. Ammi majus, these are larkspur, Baplurum, and the sweet peas in here could do with the water, and they're ready for their net to grow up. Meanwhile, in the bee pond, there is frog spawn. Very exciting. I love the way the teasels are reflected in the surface of the pond. So it's February. We often have quite a dry February. And so Fabrizio has taken advantage of the dry weather and just given the Wildflower Meadows a bit of a mow, and this takes off the thatch of grass so that the perennial wildflowers find it easy to get through. We have piles of horticultural debris everywhere, and you can imagine the habitat these heaps make for beetles and small birds and hedgehogs and all of those people who can use them as cover. And you can see how Fabrizio just adds to them all the time. So as he's clearing and rearranging and making new spaces, all the material just gets heaped up, and it makes somewhere for somebody to snuggle up and make their home. We have areas for shrubs for cutting all over the place, and here on the edge of the lug fall is one of them. And oh look, Cornus mass in flower. It smells a bit cabbagey, but it's very pretty pink. I mean, very pretty yellow at this time of year. Anyway, this is all shrubs which I use for cutting. We have patches all over the place because if you split things up, they're in slightly different microclimates. So they'll flower earlier or come into leaf earlier or later, depending on where they are, which is useful because it gives me a succession for my shrubs as well as for my flowers. Look, this is winter flowering honeysuckle, and the scent, even through my cold, is spectaculata. And then walking down here, this area is called the lady smock, because in the wild patches around it we have lady smock flowering. And this is a view you'll often get on my social media stories. If I come up here early in the morning, I'll take that photograph. Not so good mid-morning because the light is too bright, but early sometimes it's really stunning because again the light floods in from the left and it really makes it fantastic. So it's looking really tidy up here. The incredible Sue has been up here tidying up the edges. Everything's being mulched. The roses have been pruned. It does look this is eventually everywhere. So we work around the plot. We just go round and round in circles. So sometimes it looks tidy and sometimes it looks less tidy. But this is having a tidy moment. And the roses have been pruned. I made a clip about pruning the roses. The roses have been pruned and mulched and they're ready to get going for the year. I couldn't sleep last night because I have this cold, so I couldn't breathe, so it kept waking me up. And all night I was imagining pruning my Madame Alfred Carrière, which is on the front of the house. Perhaps that's a job for today. So that's it really for a little tour of the flower farm for February. We're sort of on the cusp of exciting things happening, but not quite there yet. I love the germinating seeds. But it is very good that I'm going away for a week because we will be in a completely different place in a week's time. It'll be extraordinary when I get back how much everything's come on. And especially all those germinating seeds, hopefully they'll all be pinging up all over the place. And if I'm here all the time, checking all the time, I don't get... It happens so incrementally. You don't get that kind of wow moment, whereas I should, if I've been away for a week, get a wow moment. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour, and I'll see you soon.